Hello everyone, our lesson is all about consumer math. Consumer math is a branch of mathematics that uses basic math skills in real-life situations like shopping, calculating taxes, estimating monthly budget, calculating interest rate for a loan, and many others. Learning about spending, saving, and other aspects of money math will prepare you to make better financial decisions. Now, in this lesson, our topic will include savings and time deposit. Now let's go to savings first. Savings account enable depositors to keep their money in a safe place while also earning a small amount of interest each month. Besides the fact that the money will be less likely spent, placing in a savings account is safer because it is insured. If your house is robbed or burns down, your money may be lost forever. Banks, on the other hand, insure up to 500,000 pesos of the deposited money through the Philippines Deposit Insurance Corporation. Now, savings accounts offer lower returns than most other investments. However, they are a way to earn interest until one day is ready to move funds into higher return investments, such as stocks and bonds. A typical basic savings account allows depositors to withdraw their money whenever they want to. Now, how a savings account works. So, the first thing you need to do is, of course, you need to visit a bank and then you have to open a savings account and deposit your money there. The second is the bank pays you interest on the money that you leave in your account. And then the bank does this because you allow it to use your money to make loans to others. Interest rates paid on savings account to each depositor are generally lower than the interest rates charged to those who borrow money. Third is the bank loans or the bank loan outs the money to other people, charging a higher interest on the loan compared with the interest it pays you for your account. Lastly, the difference in the interest explains how the bank stays in business. So if you're going to also to open an account, it depends on the bank how much will be their required initial deposit. For example, some banks require you to have a 100 pesos, 200 pesos, 500 pesos, 1,000 and 10,000 pesos as a required initial deposit to your account. So it really depends on the bank. And you have to make sure that you have to maintain your monthly maintaining balance because the bank will charge you with corresponding interest. Now let's go to the simple interest. Various types of personal savings accounts with banks, brokers, and investment firms can be opened. The type of savings account where the money is deposited determines the interest earned. Some savings account earn simple interest while others earn compound interest. Now, simple interest is characterized by a fixed amount earned over time. So here's the formula. I is equals to PRT, where P is principal, then R is rate of interest per annum or per year, then T is time in years. Now let's take a look at this example. If you have saved 100,000 pesos at 2% interest, how much will you earn? So if you're going to use the formula, I is equals to PRT, where P is 100,000 times the rate of 2%. So that would give you 2,000 per year of interest. Now let's proceed to compound interest. So compound interest formula is I is equals to P, open parenthesis 1 plus rate divide M, close parenthesis, raised to the power of Tm, where P is principal, R is rate of interest per annum or per year, then T is time in years, and M is number of times interest is computed per year. Now let's take a look at this example. Take the 280,000 you put in your bank, which gives you 75% interest. If you do not touch it for a year and the interest is computed or compounded daily, your account will be worth below. So if you're going to use the formula as mentioned earlier, this solution will the solution will be 280,000. This is your principal plus open parenthesis 1 plus the rate, which is converted to decimal point 0.0075 divided by 365, which is the number of days per year. Then close parenthesis raised to the power of 1 times 365, which is your TM. So this would give you 280,107.87. So compared to simple interest, which is only 282,100. Now with compound interest, you will earn money not only on what you have saved, but also on the interest you receive on that money. Now let's proceed to time deposit. Time deposit or certificate of deposit is a bank product which is almost the same as a savings account. With time deposit, the money will be kept by the bank for a fixed period of time, like for example 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, or more, in exchange for an interest rate higher than that given to a savings account. Time deposits are covered also by the PDIC up to 500,000 pesos. So at the expiry of the term, depositors may choose from the following options depending on the bank. The first option is withdraw both the principal and the interest earned by the end of the term or the maturity date of the account. Second is take the earnings and reinvest the principal. Third option is reinvest both the original amount and additional income and roll it over for the same term. So in the illustration, this is an example of a time deposit certificate. So in general, the longer the period of time for which an investor is prepared to commit, the better the rate and greater the income. So in your screen, that is an example of record indicating a client's repeated reinvestment of an original amount, which is 200,000, and the subsequent earnings. So depositors should avoid terminating their time deposits prematurely to avoid being penalized. A bank pays a higher interest rate on time deposits because it plans to use those funds for a determined time period. Imposing a penalty deters clients from withdrawing funds in time deposits because of the maturity date. Otherwise, the bank ends up paying a higher cost for the funds without being able to use them over longer periods. Hence, the documentary stamp or DST, which a bank usually shoulders if the account is held until maturity, will be passed on to the depositor. So just like on this illustration. The last part, which you can see the DST affix, which has a $500.35, so it was shouldered by the depositor. Now let's take a look at this example. So assume that you open a 100,000 time deposit account that earns 2% per annum. So let it stay for 32 days. Considering the 20% withholding tax charged to peso time deposit, the interest income on the account is on the solution, which is interest equals to the principal, which is 100,000, then the rate, which is 2%, or in decimal that would be 0.02, then the number of days, which is 32 days divided by 365 days in a year, and then the 0.80%, which is 100% minus 20% of withholding tax, So what give you 80%? So the answer will be 140.27 pesos. So further, the quoted rate of 2% is an annual rate. Then you only earn it if you let the bank hold you or hold your money for 1 year. In the example, the principal of 100,000 will only earn the share of 32 over 365 days of the 2% per annum rate, representing 32 days out of 365 days in a year that the money is kept by the bank. The convention is usually 365 days, but some banks may use 360 days in the computation. So the point 80 in the formula means you are, oh sorry, that is 0.80, not 0.080. You are getting just 8% of the total interest because the 20% withholding tax is deducted. Thus, for 100,000 money placed for 32 days in a time deposit, paying 2% interest per annum, the net interest income is 140.27, which is a bit small because considering the principal placed. But then again, time deposit accounts are covered by the PDIC, or the Philippine Deposit Insurance Corporation, which means they are virtually safe. In effect, depositors do not get a high return because there is not much risk associated with a time deposit account. So that ends our topic, savings and time deposit.